Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps, and awaited the bridegroom.
And 5 were wise, and 5 were foolish.
The 5 that were foolish took their lamps with them, but took no oil.
And those that were wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps.
While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him.
Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out.
But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves.
And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut.
Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open unto us. But he answered and said, Verily, I know you not.
Watch therefore, for ye know neither the hour nor the day wherein the Son of Man cometh.
Nestled in a grove of trees at the top of a steep hill there was a shop, and every person who toiled up the path to the top came for the same reason, to buy oil. The shopkeeper was a young man with thick brown hair. His large hands were strong but gentle. He spent much of his time sitting in a wooden workbench, carefully sculpting small oil-burning lamps. It was his tradition to give one of these lamps to every person who moved into the village. Each lamp was meticulously crafted, and each was completely different from the others. Some were round, others were oval. Some were made of ordinary clays, and others were made of terracotta. Some were perfectly smooth, while others had intricate designs tooled into their surfaces. But all of them held oil, and all of them produced light. The shopkeeper carefully sculpted each lamp to complement a quality he hoped each woman would develop within herself. With time and effort, each could become
a woman of the scriptures,
a woman who takes the Spirit for her guide,
a woman who keeps the commandments,
A woman who respects sacred things,
A woman of humility,
A woman who is loyal,
A woman of service,
a woman who diligently prepares,
A woman of prayer,
A woman of grace, personal conversion, and holiness.
With her lamp, each woman was given a choice. She could use her gift carelessly, foolishly, thinking she had plenty of time to prepare, or she could use her gift at all times and in all things and in all places. The shopkeeper reminded each woman to return to his shop often. The tiny flame the lamp produced could not be maintained without an ongoing supply of oil, and the lamp maker's shop was the only source of oil in the village. But the path to the top of the hill was steep, and the journey took time and effort. Those seeking oil would arrive at the lamp maker's shop at all times of the day and night, and each was met with a warm welcome, no matter the hour. The shopkeeper's brown eyes would light up as the lamp owner came through his door, and he would always set his work aside to visit. Everyone knows his face, the shopkeeper on the hill. All through the night, the light in his window burns as he works the clay, and everyone waits to see the lamp he's designed for her, carefully crafted, perfectly planned to be just as unique as she. She knows where she will find the shopkeeper on the hill, rugged and steep each step of the road led line. Whenever she takes the time, he reminds her to return. So her lamp will always burn with the oil he freely gives. It holds the light to guide her path. He hopes she'll bring the lamp that only he can fill. His door is open still, the shopkeeper on the hill. He waits at the window. One of the first women to receive the lamp from the shopkeeper was Eliana.
I used my light to lighten the shadowed corners of my small home. I often sit by the soft lantern's glow and read from my favorite books. Sometimes, when I'm finished reading, I set my book down beside the lamp, grab a warm blanket around my shoulders, and just sit and watch as the flame flickers and dances. This lamp has seen me through difficulties, trials, and disappointments, giving me courage through those moments of difficulty, and has seen me through joy and celebration. Even now, after all these years, the lamp still burns as brightly as it did the day it was made. My lamp was the first that he made. My lamp was the first that he made. Thoughtfully sculpted in pale yellow clay, strengthened by fire and refined, shaped and prepared to endure over time through
The shopkeeper worried for Ashira because she was always so rushed and hurried. He watched her run in and out of her house all day long. Half the time she had to run back for her shoes. Most of the time she forgot to take her lamb. He knew of her great responsibility as a teacher, healer, mentor, and caregiver, but he also knew the concerns of her heart.
Most days, it is all I can do to get myself dressed in the morning. As soon as the sun comes up over the mountain, I get right to work. On one hand, I feel as if I'm everything to everyone. On the other hand, I feel I never get anything accomplished. Sometimes I look up at the shop on the hill and think, today will be the day. Between doing the dishes, scrubbing the floor, reading to the children in the village, and the trip to the market, I will find time.
The shopkeeper knew that each of the women had her lamp in her own way. He also knew that those who visited his shop most frequently were those who used their lamps most often. As he was asked to do so, the shopkeeper would refill the tiny lamps with oil, drop by drop, according to each woman's need. Dina was the first to ask the shopkeeper for a vessel to hold more oil. It seemed that the supply in her lamp was not enough to keep the flame burning between her frequent visits to the shop. Dina was known throughout the village for her ability to bring comfort at any time of the day or night.
I use my lamp to light the way when I travel to the homes of villagers during the darkest hours of the night. Because I use my lamp constantly, I worried I might run out of oil on my journeys through the darkness. So I asked the shopkeeper to make a vessel that I could carry extra oil for my lamp. My lamp has brightened the rooms of those who are sick and warmed the lives of those who are lonely. It has accompanied me through moments where I have seen sorrow and times when I have witnessed grief. It's in your eyes, but hard. shadows of the evening have given way to morning, and the land flickered with hope returns, and you're all like birds. I've weathered storms, I felt the pounding rain, and I am no stranger to grief and pain. But through it all, his love was true. Now I want to share the hope and peace I found with you. So I will fill my vessel and light my flame, and I will wait with you. I will stay with you until your heart begins to mend, and the last tear falls, till the shadows of the evening have given way to morning, and a flicker of hope returns, and you're all like birds.
Nava's lamp was molded from a beautiful deep orange clay. After carefully inscribing an intricate floral design across the top of the lamp, the shopkeeper gently placed it in the kiln. Nava knew that her lamp was something to be treasured, and she carried it everywhere she went.
As I walked home with my lamp, I watched the flame flicker, and I knew that this was a gift to be treasured. But keeping the flame lit was a difficult task, one that required constant attention. So even though I bring my lamp wherever I go, I rarely light it. Sometimes on special occasions, I'll sit down by the table in my kitchen and I'll pull the wick through the small hole at the top. I have to trim off the blackened portion before lighting it again. This assures me that the flame will burn bright and true. Sometimes I watch the beauty of the flame and wonder why I don't light my lamp more often. Beautiful, so beautiful, the spirit of this dancing flame, flickering, awakened
The shopkeeper watched Gabriella closely for many days before he finally came up with the perfect design for her lamp. She was an unassuming woman and rarely called attention to herself, which made the task more challenging. She was also gentle and wise beyond her years. Her clothing was unadorned and beautiful in its simplicity. She had a natural style and elegance that were all her own.
Every morning, I make my way up the narrow path that leads to the shopkeeper. I'm beginning to realize that as I spend more time with him, it will help me become more like him. He makes me feel so welcome every time I visit. It is my hope that those who come to my place to visit will find me to be a loyal friend that speaks of everyone with respect and admiration. When the shopkeeper asked what I had hoped for my lamp, I asked him to make it simple. He molded the clay into a beautiful, smooth oval shape that fit perfectly in the palm of my hand. And with painstaking care, he smoothed every imperfection and rough spot. My lamp is simple, allowing those that see it to focus on the flame. Take my eyes, clear my view, heal my blindness until all I see is you. Take my lips, that I may speak words of kindness that comfort, lift, and heal. Help me stand against the winds that blow. Make my feet walk the path that you have shown. I'll be more faithful and devoted. I'll be more worthy of your name. Will you polish and refine me, make me stronger than before? Through you I can become more.
Addie wondered if she would ever be enough, and the shopkeeper watched her struggle. He had crafted her lamp with a complicated geometric design, one that would stand out. Still, Addie spent much of her time comparing it to the lamps he had given the others.
I feel as though I am so much less than everyone else in the village. It doesn't matter what I do. It always seems as if I am never enough. Sometimes I wonder if my lamp is as nice as the lamps the shopkeeper gave the others. In some ways, my lamp is beautiful, but in other ways, I feel that it is lacking. I wish I could do more with the gift I have been given.
The shopkeeper knew that Addie would quickly tire of her lamp, and so he hid a yellow diamond pattern in the intricate designs of the brown clay. With use, the diamond design would eventually show through. Uncomprehending, Addie longed for more. Would she ever discover the hidden treasure that she already carried with her?
Am I enough? What do others see? When they pass me by, I wonder what they think. If they knew how I really felt inside. Oh, I want to change the insecurities I hide. Simple and plain, nothing beautiful or grand. But could I be if placed in your hands? Could I be more confident and happy? Could I be more sure of who I am? Will you polish and refine me and make me stronger than before? Through you I
hard time waiting for her lamp to be made. As the shopkeeper was crafting her lamp, she would often run into the shop, pulling her wind-blown hair back into place, her round, brown eyes wide with anticipation.
I visited the shopkeeper every day and watched as he sat at his wooden workbench molding my lamp. I could hardly wait for the moment when it would be done. He often told me that he appreciated my company and enjoyed our conversations. Now that my lamp is finished, my visits to the shop have become fewer and farther between. The journey up the hill just takes too long. In the morning I am too busy, and in the evening I am too tired. But when I am in desperate need, I do go to him, and each time the shopkeeper seems so grateful for my visit. I can tell him everything, that's the way it's always been. And every time I talk to him, it makes my day. I see his light in the distance and I don't forget to wait as my life goes by. In my hour of desperate need, he's been there to comfort me. When I've been in tears, it's shown up at his door. Try to stop or visit as I run from place to place, but then the time goes by. Someday soon I'll spend the day telling him everything and listening to his gentle voice. Maybe someday I'll have that kind of time, but not today. I hope he understands. He understands my tender heart. He understands my restless soul. He loves my smile and he knows the things that make me cry. I know that I need to see him and tell him how I've been before this night goes by.
Malka's lamp was hewn from a beautiful piece of soft red sandstone. After the shopkeeper had given her the gift, she looked at it in wonder. She was amazed that the shopkeeper had gone to the effort to make her such a beautiful gift.
When the shopkeeper gave me my lamp, I noticed the design was very unique. It must have taken him hours to shape and smooth it. I thanked him for the gift and put it carefully in my bag. Sometimes I look at this lamp and I can't believe how lucky I am. I'm so flattered that the shopkeeper would have taken the time to make such a beautiful gift. But none of my friends ever uses her lamp. Besides, I know the village so well, I don't need a light to guide my way. I rarely light it at all. I can see fine through the darkness. But my lamp truly is beautiful, so I set it out in my home as a decoration for my friends to admire. What a beautiful piece of work, a magnificent work
After the shopkeeper gave Leora her lamp, he had watched her take the hands of other villagers and by its light lead them through the darkness. He noticed that every time her path met another, she would pause, lift her lamp in front of her, and consider her direction. Because it was hard for Leora to focus in the darkness, the shopkeeper worried she might become lost when she came to a fork or a bend in the road. He knew that without enough light, she would not be able to find her way.
One afternoon, the shopkeeper cut a branch from a tree outside his window and whittled it until it was smooth. He crafted a cup just large enough for my lamp to fit inside and fastened it to the end of the pole. On the evening he gave it to me, I lifted it up high and it lit the entire path. It's allowed me to help the lost, the weary, and the worn find their way back home. Evening lights retire one by one, tired eyes are settling with the sun. And surely as the day is done, some walk in shadows, places that I've never seen before. Some I know so well I can't ignore. Their voices calling at my door, lost as the wind blows. And by my lantern light, deep within the night, travelers turn to me with weary eyes. Brilliantly it glows, like a sky composed of stars that glimmer as the darkness grows. Bringing home, giving life, burning brightly by my lantern light. I would give every tiny part, every hidden corner of my heart to mend a world that's torn apart, healing the aching, reaching out. Something in my soul cries out loud, not for me, but so much more for those who wander in the cold, trembling and shaking. And by my lantern light, deep within the night, travelers turn to me with weary eyes. Brilliantly it glows, like a sky composed of stars that glimmer as the darkness grows. Bringing home, giving life, burning brightly by my lantern light. And should it fade away, its ashes turn to gray, it's not too late. For every fire that dies, the sun won't fail to rise another day. And by my lantern light, deep within the night, travelers turn to me with weary eyes. Brilliantly it glows, like a sky composed of stars that glimmer as the darkness grows. Bringing home, giving life, burning brightly by my lantern light.
Jessa wasn't sure how it had happened. She woke up one morning to find her lamp in broken pieces on the floor. Perhaps it had blown off the table during the furious winds that had preceded the storm. She was devastated.
I felt as though my heart had broken. I could barely see through the tears as I picked up each of the tiny pieces and gently placed them on the table. Every time I walked past the small pile, I closed my eyes and I wondered if the heartache I started for the hill. It wasn't long before the storm came, and the path became slippery. And then the downpour came. The wind whipped the hair in my face, and I could hardly see. When I realized I wasn't going to make it, I cried out for help, and within an instant he was there. The shopkeeper had been walking just below me. He covered me with his warm, heavy cloak, and he lifted me with his strong, steady arms, and he carried me up the hill. After the storm passed, he sent me down the hill with 2 gifts, my restored lamp and a very grateful heart. I've walked through sorrow till I could walk no more. I felt the winds of change blow so hard, so chill me to the core. And pain has knocked at my door, but I have never heard like this before. Only one can take the pieces of my heart and make them whole. Only one can part the darkness and breathe light into my aching soul. One way, one light, one hope, only one. I'll pick up the pieces, every little bit. I'll gather all of them, even ones that seem impossible to fix, and I'll place them all in his hands. What I cannot restore, he can. Only one can take the pieces of my heart and make them whole. Only one can part the darkness and breathe light into my aching soul. One way, one light, one hope, only one.
In time, the shopkeeper decided to marry and choose a bride. Each of the 10 women received an invitation to attend the wedding, and each was asked to take part in one of the village's most honored customs. On the night of the wedding, these 10 chosen women would use their lamps to light the doorway of the home where the wedding would be held. The glow from their lamps would bring honor to the groom as he entered the home for the celebration. It was a great privilege to be given this invitation, one that many waited a lifetime to receive. The women could barely contain their excitement for the events that were about to unfold, and finally, the long-awaited day arrived. The the 10 women made their way through the crowded streets of the village to the entry of the home where the wedding would be held. And the shopkeeper watched them from the top of the hill and waited. Finally, the 10 chosen women arrived at their destination. Each found a comfortable place in the alcove of the doorway and settled down to visit. The time passed slowly, and growing weary, the women closed their eyes and slept. The 11th hour came and went. The entire village grew quiet under the soft glow of the moon, and still the shopkeeper watched from the top of the hill and waited. One day the light giver will come and claim those who bear his flame. The very trees and skies will praise his name, and some will come to meet him and find his arms at last. Others will know that time has passed. The door will close and they will go, never to enter in. They will not know him when he comes. Then, at precisely the darkest hour of the night, when a hush had fallen over the sleeping village, those villagers who had patiently waited and watched raised a cry. The silence was broken. The women awoke with a start. The moment was at hand. It was time to trim their lamps. Suddenly alert, Jessa quickly used her extra oil to fill her darkened lamp. A lifetime of waiting had come to an end, and she hoped she had made sufficient preparation. Gabriella reached for her vessel and filled her simple lamp with all of the remaining oil she had. As she carefully tucked her empty vessel away, Nava let out a small cry. Her flame had gone out. Her lamp was empty. She had not brought any extra oil. What would she do now?
I've waited for this night for as long as I can remember. And I desperately want to be a part of this wedding. My preparations just weren't enough. Why didn't I think to bring extra oil? The thought never crossed my mind.
Frantic Nava turned to Gabriella to see if she had any extra oil, but there was none to spare. She watched the other women trim their lamps as tears ran down her cheeks and fell on the empty flowered lamp that was cradled in the folds of her dress. Realizing her mistake, Nava fell to the ground weeping. With the bridegroom approaching, the preparations around her intensified, and soon other women in the group realized that they also were short of oil.
I have been so consumed with the daily necessities of running my home that I kept putting off making the trip to the top of the hill. I just simply ran out of time.
I haven't talked to the shopkeeper for quite a while. The days turned into months until I lost track. I've waited for this day for a long time, but it never occurred to me that it would arrive so late in the evening. I didn't prepare for the delay.
I wondered if there would really be a wedding. I considered buying oil for my lamp, but since I rarely use it, I thought it might go to waste.
I used all of my extra money to buy a new dress for the wedding. I wanted to look as nice as the others. There wasn't enough money left over to buy oil.
The 5 women rushed over to Dina and Leora and fell on their feet, begging for help. These women had brightened the darkness for them in the past. Surely they would share their oil. But what had been prepared could not be shared in an instant. Every drop was needed now. They could not risk letting their own lamps run empty. As much as they longed to help their friends, there was nothing they could do. Finally, weeping tears of frustration, the 5 foolish women turned to Eliana. The wise woman could give them nothing but advice.
You will have to go out into the darkness of the night and buy oil. Purchase what you can and then return. But hurry, he's coming.
Clutching their empty lamps, the frantic women ran out of the garden, through the gate, and into the village streets. They would never make it back in time. The 5 remaining women carefully trimmed their wicks and finished emptying the oil from their vessels into their lamps. The bridegroom made his way through the crowded streets. He turned the corner just in time to see the 5 foolish women running toward the hill. His heart ached for their lack of preparation. Then he lifted his eyes to the doorway and took in the sight he had waited a lifetime to see. Leora was there with her finely crafted pole, holding her lamp high. The flame from Gabriella's simple lamp lit her eyes, which glistened with anticipation. Dina lifted her lamp so the flame could dance with the others, adding a soft glow to the brilliant display of light. Eliana rested a soft hand on Dina's arm and lifted her yellow lamp. And quiet Jessa had fallen to her knees, her lamp cupped carefully in both hands, while tears of overwhelming gratitude streamed down her cheeks. These 5 wise women had each come to know the bridegroom, and their hearts filled with joy as they watched him stride through the garden gate and down the pathway that led to the great wooden door.
He lifted me and strengthened me.
He believed in me and he encouraged me.
When I was weak, he made me strong.
When I thought I could not go on, he made up the difference.
When I found disappointment, he offered consoling peace.
The shopkeeper paused and greeted each of the women, one by one. Then he invited them in for the wedding feast. Together, the 5 women raised their lamps in a final tribute and went in with him into the marriage, and the great wooden door was shut. And at that day, when I shall come in my glory, shall the parable be fulfilled which I spake concerning the 10 virgins. For they that are wise and have received the truth, and have taken the Holy Spirit for their guide, and have not been deceived, verily I say unto you, they shall not be hewn down and cast into the fire, but shall abide the day, for the Lord shall be in their midst, and his glory shall be upon them. We are all invited to the feast. Each of us is welcome, from the greatest to the least. We hold the invitation in our hands. It's written in each crevice of our own land. I promise I'll prepare to be there on that day, dancing in the glory as we celebrate.
There will always be enough if I want to
bouncing